Judy had an excellent question. Could you ask that question again, Judy?
I'm just confused about when you measure it, do you use the inside of the calipers or the outside to go against your form there?
So what you do is if you're measuring this part, like the bottom of this bowl, I want to measure it to get the right measurement. I want to throw my foot. So when I'm measuring that, I do this. And the opposite side of it will automatically give you the outside measurement of the piece you're throwing. So if you measure here with this part to get the measurement, it will correspond to the outside of the foot that you're throwing.
I have a question.
Yes.
So when is the time you are throwing the foot? Is the ball is ready to trim?
Yes. Don't throw the foot. Don't make the foot until you're ready to trim. Because if you throw it the day that you throw this, then the clay will have set up and become leather hard, and then it's hard to throw. So you want the foot to be very soft. You want this to be a hard leather hard. And the reason is, if it's a soft leather hard, when you start throwing the foot on the bottom of this, it's going to collapse. So it's one of those catch-22 situations. You got to catch it at the perfect stage, because if it's too soft, it's going to collapse. If it's too hard, then it's hard to trim, right? So we have to catch it at just that perfect time. So let's go back to our pedestal now. Our bowl. We're going to trim this. So we want to first, before we turn this over and trim it, we have to remember how much to trim off. So we're going to measure the middle of this bowl. And so here's my measurement. So I want to take a 1/4 inch off of that to end up with a little bit more than a 1/4 inch thickness on my pedestal bowl. Fill in the hole on the inside and on the outside. We're going to put it on our bat to trim. I want to get this centered before I seal it down onto the wheel. So we center it using our technique where we find the part where it's sticking out too far, and then we're going to push it onto center. And remember, you're trying to get this part centered. You don't really care about what the rim is doing. You sort of care, but this is the part you're going to be cutting, so this is the part you really want to get on center. Okay, that's pretty close now. Take your wads of clay. Soft clay is very important for this because you're going to be putting a bit of pressure on this when you add the foot on it and start throwing. So make sure your wads of clay are really soft. Press down on the wads of clay, holding the bottom of the pot so that it doesn't get off center.
And when you're pressing that, you're pressing straight down?
Press straight down on the wads of clay. Don't press against the rim of the pot. And now we can start trimming this one, which I forgot my trimming tools. Hold on. Sorry. Somebody tell a story.
Once upon a time.
Sorry. I thought it was prepared. All right. So we're going to start trimming away. Sorry about that, Furnas. I'd like to thank Furnas for doing the filming, and my lovely Pierce College students in the background. They're very quiet right now. So I'm using the Cheryl Mud Shredder tool. It's like a Sureform file to trim off the bottom of this. I'm interested in just getting a rounded base on this. This is a real quick way to trim a lot of clay off, and I want to mark the center here so I don't go too far. So there's my indication to remember, don't go further than that. There's a place to hold my hand as I'm trimming to support my tool. So we're just trimming a rounded foot on this one. Somebody asked me a little while ago, does the pedestal foot have to look like the ones that I'm doing where they flare out? You can do what you want, you guys. If you want to put a few more curves in here, whatever. They're your creations, and I believe that you have to have, this is coming from one of your artist inspirations that I assigned to you this semester, so maybe you want to add something on there. You can sculpt on the side of the foot. You can add designs on it. Any questions about the project assignment? We'll do a little more work to it. We'll get those lines out in a few minutes, but you'll see why I don't need to do that right now, because now I want to put concentric rings on here so that I can place this foot on center.